Everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys a project we can do on a Shikishi, or a display board in Japanese. And these are little boards that you can get. Sometimes craft stores have them. They're just a basic kind of nice mat board, kind of with usually a white finish. And then I've just put some handmade paper on mine to make mine green. Now this is a little smaller in size. There's a few different sizes and I've been showing you mostly a standard larger size. But we've done a couple on this smaller size. They're always kind of fun and make great kind of decorations and additions for like a hallway or an entryway or a child's nursery, those kinds of things. And I thought we'd continue our little celebration of Children's Day, which is on the 5th of May, by making a kind of zoomed in version of a windsock, the carp that you see for the decorations, the Koinobori for the decorations for this holiday. So what I thought would be kind of fun was to take the primrose flower and fold it in half and kind of line it together to create sort of this cool scale effect. And then kind of have the, large version of this here. And then we'll just add a little face on the side. So, and trim off the edges, of course. So I wanted to kind of show you guys how things look for this. What I've done is I've used some Harmony paper that I had, and I used the blue of this particular version with this kind of cool gradation. And it works out good because when you do cut it into fourths and you fold it up, you wind up getting these two corners, opposite corners, that are two kind of complementary shades of a color. And I'm making my particular carp in blue, but I was just going to show you guys really quick the assembly here with the paper that I have. Now, like I said, I'm using paper that's a fourth of this size. So this is 15 by 15 centimeter paper. So if you cut it in half and then cut it in half again, you get 7.5 by 7.5 paper. So let me go ahead and cut this in half really quick here. So you wind up getting, 4 sheets per piece of paper, and there were 6 sheets in total, so I have a total of 24 that I've used so far of the paper, and I'll show you guys how it all fits together here in a second. So I cut my piece of paper down to this quarter size, and I'll just show you guys how the folding process works for the primrose as a reminder. You want to make sure that the color side is on top because it's going to be hiding inside everything when we're done. We're just going to do a simple square base. So I'm going to just fold my paper in half and then open it up and fold it in half again. And then open it up with that color side facing down and get my diagonal creases here by folding it to a big triangle both ways. And then I can kind of collapse everything into a nice little square base. So, and then you want to make sure that you're looking at things so that, in my case with this paper, that I've got this particular darker side that you see here inside on the right side and the lighter side on the opposite side. And then go ahead and fold everything in half here with those flaps at the top. Get a good crease because this is real helpful to have a good crease there. Open things up, and then I'm going to take each of these sides and fold it towards the center. And it kind of creates a cool little like jewel shape when you're done. So we'll do these 2 in the front and flip it over and do the 2 in the back. Fold it in half again to just make sure you've got the crease, and then we hold this first flap down and open things up. And when you do, you want to make sure you pop these pieces out here in the middle and put a little pressure right in the center so that you can spread out those petals there to create the primrose. And you should get something that looks like this. And I've got 2 of them here, and I'll show you guys how we connect these two with it folded like this. What we want to do is I'm going to fold in half right down the middle here. And you'll notice you'll have then underneath one side that has 1 layer of paper and the other that has all this extra stuff on the side. And I just decided for mine to alternate between colors. And so the easiest way to do that is, in this case, if I was to fold in half, I'd still have the same situation. I'd have the green on top, dark green, and this nothing, and then extra on this side. But I actually want to shift it over. So All you have to do is just open things up and take all of this and fold it to the other side. And then when you fold things in half, you can get things folded down the right way so that when you flip it over, you still have the nothing and then the heavier side, but now I have that lighter green. And then if you take both of your little triangles here, open them up for a second, and I'm going to take and lift up that part for just a minute, line up the two squares, lay this part on top, and then close it back down again. And you do get a pretty good kind of latch system going. Now, I don't know if I'd say that it's good enough forever for display purposes. I felt a little better by gluing all of mine down. I glued down here first, and then I put a little glue in the middle. And then, after doing that, let me show you guys. I've got a few. I'll put them together here to show you how it looks. So I've got, for example, 3 that are just lined together here to kind of show you guys. And if you just take a little bit of glue and just put it on this little tab here, you can line these up. You can make sure, of course, everything's lined up by double checking on the other side too, in case anything got, off a little bit. And I'll put it on this one too. And then I just went ahead and took and put a little bit of glue right along this top part at the edge, just to kind of sandwich things down a little bit. I've also had this sitting underneath some heavy things for a while to keep things flat. That might help a little too. So I've been staggering and putting these together so that I can have this nice one layer that has all of these little, what are these called? Scales on this side that are flappy, and the other side is glued down. So what I want to do to put things together here is, if I've got one of these layers, I've been doing strips of 3, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the underside flap right here. Not on anything else. I want to keep that top flap free to move around. So you get those 3 areas, and then you just slide this right in and find the spot so that it's lined up right with everything. Flip it over if you need to, and just double check and get everything kind of lined up into those areas and glue it down. And that should give you this nice little completed scale section here. And like I said, I just went ahead and did a total of 24 sheets with what I was working with, 6 sheets of paper cut into 4, and gave me a fair amount of a fish here that I can use then on my little shikishi or display board. And what I essentially want to do is kind of have it kind of coming from the side here at a nice angle, and to make it kind of look like, a real fish. And to keep things simple, just because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to be working with here, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of put it here at an angle that matches with what I've made here. So you could kind of see, I know I'm going to kind of go into this corner so I can essentially cut off and remove what I've got here, and then I can trim off these edges too to create what I need for my display. You could also possibly fold this over, but I think it would just create something that's so thick it might prove to be a little awkward. So I'm just going to kind of just trim it off a little bit here. And I could trim this side off too. And then I want to get this edge trimmed here. And this is just a fun kind of elaborate way to create these scales. Obviously you could do things in a lot of different ways too. If this isn't something you wanted to do with all these steps, you wouldn't need to. But and then I'll cut off this side too. So you can see how we're getting kind of the beginning there with that. And then I've got a little bit of other colors here. I've got a little bit of white and some blue for my eye here that I'm going to use. Now I want to try to match up the width of everything for this. So if I can kind of create a little pinch and fold this off, I'm just doing sort of a stylized face for the carp, so I want to have a little section of white in the front that's of a little white rectangular shape. So if I kind of get this measured off, and this is just some taunt paper that I had, but you can kind of get a feel for where you want things. I'm just going to shoot for about here, I think. Let's see. That's pretty good. First put a little glue on my base that I've made here. Get that part down. So I'm going to be putting this right like this, and then I want to have a little eye that I want to make here. So I first want to have I want to create basically an outline of a darker blue, and then just another circle within that that's almost the same size, and then another smaller one of the blue to be like the eyeball. So you can see here I kind of created my little eyeball with some different layering there of the colors. And I want to just kind of put it on here in a good spot. And then I can glue this other white part down too. So I'm just going to first put down the white area so that I can get a better idea of where things are. And then the eyeball too. And then I thought it'd be nice to put a little bit of a fin here with just some of the colors that I have of the white and the blue. And I'm just going to kind of, pick a couple of, I was going to use maybe the blue as a base and just cut a little bit of it out so that I can have it kind of come in from the side here. And it doesn't need to be that big, really. This is meant to be pretty, geometric and stuff. It's not meant to be true to what they really look like. It's more of a geometric display of it. And then I can just kind of put some strips of white across this. And I'm just going to cut. I'm just kind of eyeballing this, of course. But if you get a couple of strips there that we can then lay across to create the feel of like the little fin there, and then put that on there too. So I'll go ahead and just get some glue first on these. And then trim up the edge. And then put a little bit of glue on here. And just find a nice little spot here to kind of connect this. sort of a fun way to kind of lay everything all over there with the layers. But that's sort of a fun little interpretation then of a koi fish for Kids Day. And these could be just a fun thing to make. You could make a whole series of these and have them hanging in a child's nursery, for example. They make a really pretty cute little decoration. So a little extra folding, but I thought the results were kind of cool looking. So I'll have some more fun things to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again always so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.